Towson here, and one of our great sponsors either benefits from that or I'm not sure, but all I know is the roof on my mother's home came flying off onto the awning of her home that she had owned since 1951 before she passed, and I'm lucky that I know roofers. Now, Bill Cole generally does, like, epic, large, huge roofs, but if you know him and Mom's roof blows off on a Friday night in the worst windstorm I've ever seen, it's nice to have friends in the roofing business when it's snowing and icing and all that good stuff. Is it not, Bill Cole?
It can be beneficial.
Well, I mean, I could do lots of things, but I ain't never, like, climbed up onto a roof and, like, fixed it or anything like that. And your family's been doing it, 99 years or thereabouts. So, man, weather, it is unforgiving, the wind, right? I mean, knocked our station off the air, probably made your red light blink for a couple of days over the weekend, right?
Yeah, it was really crazy. We haven't seen wind like that in a long time, and things that otherwise in even what we would consider windy days were flying off. So yeah, it was pretty crazy, hectic couple days.
Was it the most active ever? Like, I mean, I would think from your perspective, storms and hurricanes and so. But when you said it was the windiest I've ever felt it, and I've lived downtown 15 years, and I live high up enough that when it's windy, you really, really notice it. And I know you're, our Facebook friends, and I was flying back. I should have driven back from Indianapolis, but the worst landing in the history of landings, dude. Like, I can't believe
I can't believe you got in. Yeah.
I can't believe they take planes off. I don't know why an airline would put a pilot through that sort of stress, let alone all the passengers throwing up.
Right. Yeah, I don't know that. I mean, I haven't heard that it was like the most windiest record day or anything like that, but we haven't seen wind like that. And
did they measure it like that back in the 40s and 50s and 60s? I mean, whatever they have to measure it now is far more accurate than 50 years ago. So all I can do is compare it to my lifetime. I have never felt wind in Maryland like that kind of wind, and certainly that sort of sustained, went on for a day and a half kind of wind, which really is where the damage happens, right? One gust is bad enough, one eye of a storm is bad enough, but hanging around 12, 15 hours, that's where the mess begins, right?
Well, yeah, and it's really site-specific, so we might get wind data from the airport, but if you're in Owings Mills, it could be totally different, and if you don't have an anemometer, you're not really going to know how fast it was, so it's still a really inexact science. And then to your point, your roof could have blown off on Friday, but the wind didn't let up enough for us to safely put men on the roof until Sunday. So, yeah, just repeatedly hammering on it, and then things that maybe were just a little bit of a problem become a major problem.
I thought they said things aren't built like they used to. My mom's house is built in 1951. The roof didn't blow off for 67 years. So I guess for that we should be thankful, right?
I agree, yeah.
He is Bill Cole from Cole Roofing. Actually, we talk sports around here. He's one of my sports buddies, and, I try to come up with topics for you each and every week because it makes it more fun, because I can sit here and talk Orioles and Ravens, and we'll have the other 51 weeks a year to do that. But I'm out in the cradle of basketball last week in Indianapolis for the Combine. All of the FBI stuff and the NCAA stuff comes down, the Maryland stuff, the Diamond Stone story, and I know you and I had discussed Diamond Stone for all 3 months that he was here 2 years ago, and now we find out there's $14,000 payments. March Madness comes Sunday. The brackets are out next Thursday. As I get older, and you've had a lot of employees who do hard work, and you pay them. I've had a lot of employees who've done hard work. I've paid them. It is fascinating in the modern era that we all get together and watch these kids all dribble every year, going back to Magic Johnson. And the one thing that stays the same is everybody's making money. The sales guy at CBS, the sales guy at the NCAA, all the TV announcers, everybody that's working, tearing a ticket during the tournament. Everyone is paying or making money except the actual guys that are doing it all down on the court, dribbling around for Radford or Vermont or UMBC. And those are the kids that aren't getting paid. Billy, it makes me itch as time goes on. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, again, we kind of hit on this a little bit before, but it's not an easily solvable problem. I don't think you want to just open it up to a paying scenario, but maybe there's some kind of long-term pension that gets put into that the kids can access later on down the road. Like, I don't think you want to open up the capitalistic nature of everyone to just start paying players. But to your point, a lot of people are benefiting from it on the backs of the kids, and it doesn't seem to fit really well, and it's going to continue to cause strife.
It doesn't feel like it's any closer to it not being that system. I mean, you just summed it up perfectly, Billy. There's a lot of people, everyone, making money off the backs of the 12 kids who are making nothing. That just fundamentally seems wrong, and it is always going to seem wrong. Hey, and by the way, I mean, it's a great week to talk about this because Ed O'Bannon, I'm going to hold this book up here on your segment, Court Justice, the inside story of his battle against the NCAA. Ed O'Bannon's coming on later in the week, and, this is the time of the year where we should be talking about it. It's the only week of the year that I do discuss how corrupt it is, and on the front end of that was this whole FBI investigation into exactly what's going on to keep these coaches rich, quite frankly, right?
Yeah, and just to be fair so that we can have a meaningful conversation about it, it's not that they're not benefiting at all, right? It's just that the benefit is limited to the education that they're getting for free and the room and board that they're getting for free and probably the mediocre meals that they're getting for free. So it's not free, but it certainly is out of balance. And the rules that continue to get made, right? It's like every time somebody figures out a way to circumvent the rule, we have another rule. So we didn't anticipate cell phones and being able to text message kids 7,000 times, but until we write a rule about it, here the guys are, they're texting these kids all the time. So
hey, I've been bragging all month, all year that I broke the NCAA law when I gave Fang Mitchell's kids pizza back in 1997, literally, right?
Right.
And that's how touch and go all the rules are for what you can and can't do for the kids. But God forbid everybody makes $1 billion next week off of March Madness and these kids can't have a bagel, right? Literally.
Well, but my brain goes to that all the time now. So, right, you and I talk about it.
20 years ago, we didn't think anything of it. 20 years ago, you and I were like, how do we buy tickets? When's it coming here? When can we go to the Final Four? Let's get a room. Let's get in the car. I mean, and I guess as I get older, I get a little itchier about it, man. I really do. And clearly, someone at the FBI has become awakened or woke, as they say in the modern, as the kids are saying, to all of this. And, rolling the FBI into this and going after coaches and going after these bagmen and the AAU nonsense and the people delivering these kids for 4 months to campuses, I don't necessarily have a problem. I mean, I think the FBI's got a million other things they could be investigating, including the guy leading the country, which apparently they're working on right now. But I don't have any problem with, at some point, to your point, they're going to break the rules until somebody comes and gets them. And let's be honest, the NCAA wasn't going to police itself and really hasn't over the last 40 years.
Oh, no, it definitely hasn't. And they're going to end up getting one guy, and they're going to make an example out of him, but they're not going to let the whole system crumble because there's too much money in play. Look, it's all about the money now, to the point where I'm trying to figure out why the Big Ten was playing their tournament last week. I was so confused, thinking that it was Selection Sunday and I had missed a week of my life.
All right, let's work this backwards. Okay, so let's start with this. It all starts with money, Bill.
Right. Yeah,
Bill Cole is here from Cole Roofing. All right, so here's a story. It was always in Chicago and Indianapolis, right? And I told this story earlier in the week. I think maybe I was talking to Mike Ashley or I was talking to somebody in the basketball space about when you're in Indianapolis. I was there last week, so the women's Big Ten tournament was going on. They literally have made street signs that they replace the street signs. So Maryland Avenue is no longer Maryland Avenue. It is Terrapin Way. Illinois Street is no longer Illinois Street. It's Illini Way. So every downtown street has been renamed Boilermaker Way, Buckeye Way, whatever. And they literally put those signs up. Now, Maryland comes into the Big Ten, part of the, the nicey nice, the same way that the Super Bowl was in Minnesota was, right? The Vikings built a new stadium. The reason that the Big Ten tournament was in Washington last year, and you and I could go down there and watch Michigan win and Maryland roll over, was because Maryland moved into the Big Ten, and the Big Ten wanted to have its tournament and expand its branch and its footprint to D.C. enter Rutgers, right? So Rutgers enters, and the Big Ten's like, whoa, that's where the big money is, right? A lot of people live in New Jersey, New York. So let's go do the tournament in New York. Now, here's where you come in. Here's the hard part. Bill, you've been watching a certain tournament at Madison Square Garden associated with a certain bruising brand of Big East basketball for like all of our lifetime. So Madison Square Garden is unavailable this weekend because the Big Ten tournament, the Big East tournament's there every year, right? So the NCAA and the Big Ten said, well, we can move it back a week and we can still have it at the Garden. Now, apparently, the Barclays Center was the other idea. The only problem with that, dude, is they're playing the ACC tournament at the Barclays Center this weekend. So the Barclays Center and Madison Square Garden were both tied up. So the Big Ten voted on all the money to have their tournament a week early, 1 year in the whole thing. It's going to Chicago next year. They're going to do it this weekend. They're doing it in Indianapolis 2 years from now. They're going to do it this weekend, the normal weekend. But about 3 years ago, they decided to move it to New York, and they said we're going to have it a week early. So that is why we're all sitting around, other than UMBC, who's playing in Vermont at 11 a.m. on Saturday for the championship of the America East. We're all going to twiddle our thumbs. So did I do okay with that history primer there, Billy?
Yeah, that was good. Although it's like, so does the Big Ten rank below the Big East and the ACC now? Or are you sure that they're not going to, because they probably took the lion's share of the TV viewers this past weekend, that now they're going to say, hey, playing that tournament a week early gives us the spotlight. Maybe we should do that every year. So see if the money doesn't move that tournament, because that was the thing, right? If you were going to watch an exciting tournament, it was 4 days of Big Ten. You could follow a team, and you were a viewer. And then you're watching the other games, and they're just regular season games. So it was interesting.
Well, the Big Ten moved part of their schedule. Remember when Maryland played was it Purdue and Illinois back in early December? They had that 1 week where they added those games that they were missing from the past week, right, for conference games, regular season conference games. Next year, they're going to play a whole bunch of them in December, because next year, everybody in the conference is going to play everybody twice. So they've kind of stepped that up. So there may be less Fairfields and UMESs on the Maryland schedule moving forward, and for all those teams, for Penn State, for Rutgers, for all those teams, because of the Big Ten. Bill Cole is our guest. He is Cole Roofing, and, of course, a lot of corporate and commercial roofs had some issues last weekend amidst the wind and the bad conditions. If your corporate space, your commercial space needs a roof, or you're reevaluating your roof space, you need Bill Cole. Bill, do the elevator speech for 30 seconds on what you do, including green spaces and solar panels for Pfister Energy up on those roofs.
Sure. Cole Roofing's a commercial roofing contractor. Been in Baltimore since 1919. I'm fourth generation. Everything from an emergency leak to a roof replacement to a new construction school, and everything in between. We do single plies and built-ups and metal roofs and metal edges and wall panels, kind of an exterior envelope contractor. Anywhere probably that we can drive to, so our geography's not too far-reaching, but
you can't drive to Hart Miller Island, but you'd take a job out there, wouldn't you?
I would.
Okay,
sure.
On a boat, right? Theoretically, you could drive, even though you can't drive there.
Well, yeah, looked at one there. You had to put everything on a barge and float it across. Yep.
Competent, competitive roofing solutions using the latest roofing technologies. And yes, I am reading from the website at coleroofing.com. You can learn more there. And you and I met, or at least became even better acquainted, through a local group called Accelerant. And I want to promote Accelerant this week because there's a basketball theme. And Billy, I'm holding the book up for all of our web viewers here. Pat Williams, who was a guest on my program, who's a multi-time cancer survivor, longtime general manager of the Philadelphia 76ers back in the 80s, and the architect of the Dr. J and Moses Malone and Chocolate Thunder. His new book is Forgotten Teams, Stories and Lessons from John Wooden's Summer Basketball Camps. Think we could get glean any knowledge from a guy been running the NBA for 50 years and writing now over 100 books. He's coming in on behalf of Accelerant. So I want you to talk about Accelerant. It gives us a chance to talk about Pat Williams and sort of the great part of when mentors and leaders in sports then come and speak to us about our businesses, right?
Yeah, so Accelerant is a business growth networking platform where the members are like exclusive to your category, and I think the primary mission is give to get. So we're always looking for ways to refer our other partners into our good clients. One of the events that we do, I don't know, 9 or 10 times a year is a breakfast event, and they usually have a speaker. And this month is Pat Williams, and I had the fortunate pleasure of hearing him with you a number of times, and kind of already know how good and genuine the message is that he's speaking. The sports part is nice, and sometimes you might go hear a speaker who's a sports celebrity, and you're not sure whether you're actually there to listen to old war sports stories, which are great, or you're actually going to get a piece of useful life or business knowledge that you can take away. And I think that Pat Williams is like really good on multiple levels there. So the guy could tell some amazing basketball stories, and then some of his life experiences just have produced his ability to talk about things that help give you perspective or inspiration, or make you be able to take a deep breath. And
dude, he's an unbelievable guy, man. He's run 58 marathons. He's climbed Mount Rainier. He won the NBA title in '83 and has been in Orlando for 30 years running that franchise. And he's had multiple myeloma at the age of 71, beat it, wrote a book about it, and came on the show to talk about it. Now he's coming to Baltimore. So this is, I think there's a nice little sports tie, and I think we're all going to get some inspiration from Pat here as he comes in for the Accelerant speech this week. And had I known he was doing Accelerant, I literally had him on the phone 10 days ago, and you can go out to the buyatoyota.com audio vault, and this is the 4th book he's written on Coach Wooden, Billy. 4 books on Wooden. He said he's done with Wooden now. He's going to go back and do some more stuff, but I'm a Coach Wooden guy, so I got this book, and I'm already fingering through this thing, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. I want to pick it up and read it. Any of the stuff about Wooden is good. Anytime you can try and understand how you can build, long-term success and avoid short-term, kind of solutions that might undermine you moving forward, that's all really good stuff. And I think Pat will come in and he'll keep you interested with, his spectrum of things he can touch on and talk about are just so wide that, I don't know how you can't take something away from somebody like that.
Bill Cole's our friend from Cole Roofing. He joins us weekly. Sometimes we talk Orioles, sometimes we talk Ravens, sometimes we talk Terps. Right now, dude, we should be talking UMBC. They're going up to Vermont. Yeah. They're the only chance to put an M into the brackets here at this point. But opening day, we're 3 weeks out on it, man. It's March 29th. By the way, we're going to have head coach Barry Trotz out. We'll be swabbing for the Bone Marrow Registry. And, of course, Cole Roofing, as well as our partners at Howard Bank, another Accelerant partner of ours, a relentless commitment to being the best at everything they do. They're going to be part of our swabbing with Coach Trotz on that night. You go into opening day, you have any pep in your step at all? I know the weather hasn't been great this week to be thinking about baseball, but I'm kind of looking forward to going to the ballpark. I'm not looking forward to the season. I think this is a real train wreck. I mean, I'm not putting days aside in June and July and August and thinking like we're going to have a relevant baseball team this year. And it's the first time in a number of years, and it sort of harkens back to that, well, it's March and we can't win. That's not a good feeling. It really isn't. As a fan, as a local guy, as a sports guy, it's got me like lining up rock and roll interviews and wanting to talk to you and Pat Williams.
Yeah, look, it's an annual event in Baltimore, so from that standpoint, if I don't make plans ahead of time, the day of I'll get the itch and, one way or another, probably head down there in the early afternoon.
It's always based on the weather, right?
Especially if the weather's nice.
Right, if I'm going to tell you, Billy, it's going to be overcast and 42 and a little windy, you're going to say, yeah, I got roofs to fix.
I will definitely stay in my office that day.
Well, what is the delineation for me is usually sunshine and 50, because if it's 54, you can sort of say, well, the sun won't go down to the 7, you know what I mean? At least it'll be nice from 1 to 3 when I'm walking around. 51, 52, 53, you get me. You start going to 44, 45, and you take the sun away and you start calling it partly cloudy. All of a sudden, I mean, it's really good on TV, especially if you put the sound down.
Yeah, but baseball for me is a sort of a conversational sport anyway. So if there's a group of good people that I would like to spend time with, it's sort of the same category as golf, right? Like I don't really care about golf, but you know, there's worse things to do than to hang out with good people that you want to have 4 or 5 hours of conversation with. So that's baseball in the same way. Is if I'm going to go with a good group of people. Yeah, 40 seems like I'm pushing it. It certainly would get me more interested if it was above 50 degrees.
You're hurting my feelings, dude. I've never been to a ball game with you. Now I know how you feel.
That's
See
not
that?
true. We did the walkout.
Oh, we did do. Okay. You were at that game. All right. Fair enough. You've got pictures. I have video. It was 12 years ago. What the hell are we waiting for? He is Bill Cole at Cole Roofing. You can find him. Certainly, you can find him at Accelerant on Thursday, where Pat Williams will be speaking up in Hunt Valley. You could certainly find him out on the web at Cole Roofing. And quite frankly, when my mom's roof blew off and my next door neighbor is literally sending me the pictures, Bill, I can't begin to tell you. And this is for everybody in the audience out there. And you know how it is, right? When your sink stops up, if you've got a guy, if you see a cockroach or a rat in your basement or a snake, it's nice to know you got a guy or a girl or whatever you got. But when the roof blew off and I was literally, I was in an Uber in Indianapolis with Luke, leaving the Dome and headed to the airport and seeing these texts in an Uber, and I thought to myself, you know what? I'm glad I got a guy. You know what I mean? You got to have a guy. So Bill Cole is my guy. Cole Roofing is there for all of your commercial roofing needs as well as Pfister Energy. Tell them how to find you and the best way to find you. Obviously, Cole Roofing's the best way, and if you have your text when your mom's roof blows off, that helps too.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to be your guy. We like to be all of Baltimore's guy. The web is coleroofing.com. Our office number is 410-242-0600. We're always available. There's always people here. I mean, we understand that, to your point, Nestor, when something happens,
it's urgent.
It's the biggest thing in your whole world. We see it every day, but we work hard to maintain empathy and understand that it is the biggest thing going on in your world.
You know, the craziest thing is the roof blew off. My son wasn't there. My daughter-in-law wasn't there. My neighbor's watching the roof blow down the alley. And all I could think about at that moment in the Uber was, I hope his cat's okay. You know what I mean? Like, literally the first thing is save the creatures, dry the place out, get a tarp up on it, and we'll figure it out. But, there's that peace of mind of, is everything wrecked? To, I got a guy, he's going to be there in a couple of hours, and, I mean, you really are doing sort of crisis intervention with every time the phone rings, right? Literally, right?
Yeah, for that person, whoever calls, I mean, let's just take water coming in, right? Water's coming in your lobby of your building. It's the biggest thing in your life at that moment in time. And we have to address it. I mean, we have to be able to respond quickly, right? We have empathy. We know that this is a big deal, so we respond quickly. And to your point, let's get it under control, and then we'll solve it. So.
Well, you solved me, even on a Friday afternoon and a windy Saturday into Sunday. I am appreciative. We're grateful for all you do. Cole Roofing is our partner. He is Bill Cole. You can find him out at coleroofing.com and probably finding him doing 12-ounce arm curls with me sometime around 1 p.m. on March 29th. Billy, we're going to the game. I've made a decision. I made an executive decision. That's what we're going to do.
All right.
We'll see you at Accelerant on Thursday with Pat Williams, and we'll definitely stay in touch and check in next week.
All right, thanks, Ness.
He is Bill Cole, Cole Roofing, as well as Pfister Energy. You can learn more on the web about all that they do, as well as their partners and our partners at Accelerant, where Micah does a nice job. So big shout out to Mike and Kim up at the Accelerant Group as well. You can find that interview with Pat Williams out in the buy at Toyota.com Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn radio app. Now featuring our Laurel entries each and every week for the weekends. Cure your winter blues. Get out to Laurel and soon Pimlico and Preakness, where there is no roof. They run outdoor, al fresco. Hi-ho, Pimlico. I'll be singing that one a whole lot in April and May. You can also find me out on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live on our Facebook as well as our YouTube, WNST TV channel. Nasty at WNST.net finds me 24 hours a day. We got a lot of people on this Ray Lewis trip. If you're going to join us out in Canton, make sure you're making that decision, and you can always toss me an email about that as well. If there's any breaking news, you get it first on the WNST Text Service. That's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Dennis Colatzos will be here this Thursday, next Thursday, every Thursday leading up to the draft with all things draft and how are we going to get playmakers onto this squad. Free agency coming next week. It is the SSV on WNST, heard from 3 until 5 on Thursday. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 at WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.